Hey guys, this is part 2 in a series, so if you've not seen part 1, go to the link in the description. As for everyone else, on with the video. Anyways, we cut back to Gwen for a whopping 42 seconds just for her to wake up and go back to sleep. This scene adds nothing to the plot, to the theme, there's no tension. There is absolutely 0 point to this scene happening at all. There is an attempt at a jump scare, but bar that, this scene adds nothing, and even with the jump scare, this scene adds nothing. Again, most of Gwen's scenes are just filler until she's actually needed in the plot, but why even have the scenes? Anyways, now we cut to Patrick, and the film attempts to imply that he has been left behind after being shot, even though he is in a completely different location than when he was shot. It's a very obvious dream sequence just so it can set up a jump scare, but I love that they include the bandage in the dream sequence, even though he would not remember that being put on because when he got shot he instantly passed out. And if he'd just been abandoned, then who'd bandaged him?
Dazed and confused.
Dazed and confused reference because the humor relies so heavily on references. Anyways, Patrick's dad takes Patrick to have a talk with him, still not sure who the hell Patrick is right now, because not only does Patrick have his father's tags, but he has a photo of his father from the last day they were together.
You gotta be straight with me. Are you an actor?
Maybe ask the bandages that are covering the bullet wound in your arm that question. Anyways, now the movie decides it's going to talk at you. This is a big problem the movie has as a whole, but it's really bad in the scenes with Patrick. These characters are constantly just dumping exposition and calling it a conversation. None of the dialogue in this movie ever feels natural. Anyways, Patrick manages to convince his father that he is in fact Patrick. And then naturally Patrick's dad is like, how is any of this possible? And Patrick starts explaining Fantasy Island.
How is this happening? There's this place, this island. It can make whatever you want come true. I said that I wanted to be a soldier, but I guess what I really wanted was to see you again. Somehow the island knew.
This you?
What if your fantasy involves a person from your life?
Holograms, like Tupac.
What if it's somebody who died?
Tupac.
Wow, Patrick, I wonder how they knew. Anyways, now Patrick tells his father that he died in a classified mission in Venezuela.
Venezuela? Sure. Of course. Why? Because we'll be there tomorrow.
Oh, snap. Anyways, now we cut back to Gwen, and this is the first scene that focuses on her in a very, very long time to not just be filler. I mean, yeah, it's not well written or anything, but it's not filler. Keep in mind we're over 45 minutes into the movie and she still has no relevance to the plot yet. She picks up her phone to check what time it is, and wait a minute, I don't remember this photo. This was filmed on location, why does this look so green screened?
Good morning.
It's a really good Photoshop. I don't know how you got it on my phone while I was sleeping, but it does look real.
Oh, it is real.
Anyways, now Mr. Rourke explains to Gwen that because she said yes in the fantasy, it is real, and now they've caught up to time. Her and Dallin have been married 5 years, and they even have a lovely child who can't act for shit.
Daddy, look what I found.
Gwen's confused, so Mr. Rourke encourages her to look through her phone, which is magically already unlocked. It's not even just that it's already unlocked, it's the fact that it's already on gallery too. But now Gwen is getting all the memories that she would have had this timeline happened in the first place. Gwen doesn't understand how any of this is possible, so Mr. Rourke feeds us his backstory, and the film talks at us again. Basically, Mr. Rourke had heard of the myth of Fantasy Island, so he set out to find it with his wife, and before they arrived, his wife died. So in return for Mr. Rourke running the island, he wished for his wife.
As long as I stay here and I orchestrate all the fantasies, she leaves.
How does this even make any sense whatsoever anyway? The movie makes it clear later on that fantasies only last on the island as long as you're on the island. So why is that not the case for Mr. Rourke? And how did this trade deal even work in the first place? Did he talk to the island?
Mommy, come play.
Look, I know people don't like ragging on child actors, but Jesus Christ, she is one of the funniest things about the entire movie. Anyways, now we cut back to Patrick, because I guess the other two stories don't exist anymore.
Hey, LT, over here.
The hell are you doing, Himoff?
Oh, you two look so alike, you could be related.
Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha.
I just thought that you...
Don't do that. Don't think. Do your job.
Does his job not involve thinking? Anyways, Patrick's father announced... Wait, did they ever give this fucking character a name? Hold the fucking phone. Because I don't have it in... Do I have it in any of my notes? Hold on. I have to have it in my notes somewhere. Did they ever name this character? No, I don't think they do. Yeah, I just have Patrick's dad every time. Do they ever give this character a fucking name? Hold on. Oh, 4.9 out of 10 on IMDb. Epic. What the fuck is his name? Okay, so Patrick's last name is Sullivan, so see other. No, they don't! It's Lieutenant Sullivan! What the fuck? This character has no name. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Great writing choice. Amazing. So anyways, Patrick's dad announces his idea of leaving because he knows he's going to die now, and Patrick's like, no, if you leave, you'll not be a hero. You see, if Patrick's dad goes to the mission, he jumps on a grenade and saves everyone else there. And then they have a fight scene for literally no reason. I guess since we haven't come back to the characters who are actually in any danger, we needed to find something else to do. This is so lame and it's such obvious filler. Anyways, Patrick convinces his father to go back to the Venezuela mission and the scene ends, proving that the scene was even more filler. Now we cut back to the best characters, Brax and JD, who are trying to explain their situation, and the movie wants it to be really funny. They're like, yeah, we're on this fantasy island, and Mr. Rourke gave us the house, and we don't know anything about anything else. And obviously the bad guy's like, yeah, I don't believe you, you're fucking lying, I'm gonna punch you now. Then the main guy in the room takes off his mask and the music treats it like a reveal, even though we've never met this character before. Is this not meant to be really funny? Anyways, Brax and JD continue to explain that they have no idea what's going on, and obviously, again, the bad guy does not believe them. Also, if you're wondering why I'm constantly just calling him bad guy, it's because this is yet another character who they just didn't bother giving a name, and honestly, Devilface somehow sounds lamer than the bad guy. Yep, Devilface is the name they went with for him. You know, because his mask because his face. What are we going off of here? So anyways, Brax and JD are accused of killing the original owner of the house, which they deny because obviously they did not, and so the bad guy does this.
Whoa, that is so messed up, man.
I just love these faces from everyone. These were the best takes they could get. Anyways, JD decides that the best course of action is to lie and claim he knows where a bunch of money in the house is. Wouldn't this just be worse for you when they find out you're lying? So the bad guy takes Brax to go look for the money. And then we cut back to Gwen, and honestly, in another twist of fate, I was kind of relieved to be cutting back to Gwen, because bar the faces in this scene, this was so painfully boring. But hey, now we have bad child acting, which makes this so much more entertaining.
This castle's gonna be my house.
What? Just your house? You're moving out already? Well, can I come in here and live with you?
No,
Why not?
you know why, Mommy.
Thank you, Bear McCreary, for bringing in some dramatic strings for a line that has no effect on anything and goes absolutely nowhere later on.
I need shelves for my house.
Why didn't they cast someone who could act? Gwen's fantasy begins to feel wrong, and so she decides to go to Mr. Rourke.
Where are you going?
To make things right.
I am very obviously confused, but I am not going to attempt to follow you or find out what you mean. Gwen goes to Mr. Rourke and is like, hey, I need a new fantasy, I made the wrong decision, and Mr. Rourke's like, no, that's not how it works. Hey, remember earlier when the island somehow identified exactly what Patrick wanted despite it not being his fantasy? Why didn't that happen for Gwen? Oh man, I wonder what this snake means. Oh man, I wonder what this snake means.
Should we trust him? He's almost as scary looking as the last guy.
Why would someone pretend to save us?
Ooh, spooky foreshadowing.
Tell us what's up before we go one more step.
We're exposed down here. Rourke's got eyes and ears everywhere.
Who's Rourke?
Ask her.
I have no idea what he's talking about. We should keep moving. Come on.
That's really strange. I will not question this or think about this any further. Oh man, I wonder what this snake means. Anyways, now they're going into a snake cave, and it's dark, so they need flashlights, and so Melanie decides to use her phone, and yes, that is the exact photo that she brought a framed photo of. Why did you even bring the framed photo? It's literally your phone lock screen. Also, I love that Damon just leaves torches lying around here. Oh man, that was so spooky. Time for me to slow my pace and walk and not catch up to my group whatsoever. Oh no, Sloane, it's behind you. She turns around and no shocker, there's no one there. Guess I'm all safe now. Chillin' like a villain. Anyways, they get to a body of water, and how is Sloane instantly caught up? They go through the water, but uh-oh, there's something in there with them.
What the hell was that? What the hell was what?
Sea snakes.
Oh man, I wonder what this snake means. They're about to make it through, but oh no, jump scare time.
What's wrong?
Wow, that was so scary and original. Anyways, they make it to the center of the island, the power source for the fantasies. Here we learn that Damon was actually an undercover journalist who was sent to investigate the island, and he got his fantasy of his daughter, but then she turned evil and Mr. Rourke imprisoned him on the island. Because I guess the natural conclusion of Damon seeing his daughter again is her turning evil and possessed by the island, because that's natural. The water of the island is presumably what's causing the fantasies to actually take place, so Damon wants to use it to expose Rourke as a monster.
Which is why I need you to smuggle this off the island. I know a private pilot, hour away.
Then why have you not tried getting anyone here to fucking contact them over the 3 weeks you have been here? Also, if you were sent here to uncover the secret of the island and you've been here for 3 weeks, why has no one come looking for you?
What about you?
Rourke won't let me near the hotel. As far as he's concerned, you're just a guest.
A guest?
Melanie gets exposed by accident by Damon, who does not realize that Sloane is under the impression that Melanie isn't a guest here, and he even exposes the fact that she did not come via boat. And with the way this is directed, it's clearly supposed to be tense and serious, but this is one of the funniest scenes in the movie that isn't in the third act. I wonder why the other guests are showing up in what depicts fantasies of the people within the room.
Your fantasy was to ruin my life? And who are all those people? Oh my god. You're the psycho soccer girl.
It took Sloane a shocking amount of time to figure it out, but she has put the pieces together of why she is here. The two argue about who treated the other worse, and now they're leaving. Oh man, I wonder what this snake means.
Julia? Julia, are you okay?
There's more blood on that tissue than there was when JD's arm got sliced open. What do you think? Gwen helps Julia, and Julia tries to encourage her to go enjoy her fantasy, but Gwen can't.
I want to change the moment that I regret most, but I chose the wrong one. I didn't think any of this was going to be real, and now I have 5 years of memories of a daughter that I didn't have yesterday.
And for a new fantasy, you'd be willing to give it all up? Your own child?
6 years ago, there was an accident.
And this is the first moment in the entire movie where Gwen is actually relevant to the overarching plot. We are over an hour into this movie, keep in mind. Gwen explains how there was a fire in her apartment that she accidentally caused which took someone's life, and how that is actually her biggest regret.
Your fantasy is to change the moment you regret the most. You don't want a new fantasy.
How was this not obvious? Gwen shows up to Mr. Rourke to try and convince him to let her redo her fantasy, and he's like, no, there are rules for a reason.
Oh, but those aren't the only rules, are they? You have one of your own. As long as you do the island's bidding, your wife lives. That's what you told me.
I've already given you a fantasy.
You misled me. My fantasy was to have a do-over, but that's not the do-over I wanted. You willing to risk your wife over it?
Mr. Rourke gives in to the blackmail and asks Gwen if this is really what she wants.
It's not what I want. It's what I have to do.
It's still what you want though, just say yes. Oh my god, what is taking you so long? There is someone about to die. Eventually she realizes she's wasting time and goes on her journey to stop the fire. She nearly gets a fire extinguisher, but she hears a noise and decides to back away instead of grabbing the fire extinguisher and pulling it away with her. She starts heading up to the floor above when she notices some familiar faces. How strange. Also, why did she go straight to her apartment if she was trying to save someone upstairs? Anyways, now Gwen's trying to get into the apartment, but she can't get in, so she goes to get some help.
Officer!
Back it up!
There's someone inside. I need you to help me break this door down.
Please calm down. Help is on the way. Sorry, do I know you?
Wow, how suspicious. You have seen Brax, JD, and Patrick all in your fantasy. Anyways, Patrick refuses to help her, saying that help's on the way. He won't go inside, but he will let a civilian go inside to die with another civilian. You know what, they really said ACAB, and I respect that. Okay guys, so Gwen's in a little bit of a pickle. She's trying to save Nick, the person who lives in the apartment above hers, and she's going back into her apartment to do so. However, the apartment is filled up with smoke. Will Gwen A. attempt to hold her breath? B. Attempt to use a piece of clothing to cover her mouth and nose. C. Attempt to use her hand to cover her mouth and nose. D. Go into one of the apartments that the fire is affecting less and get the fire extinguisher from that one. Or E. Do nothing to protect yourself from inhaling smoke and attempt to find something within the apartment that can get rid of some of the smoke. If you picked E, your expectations are still too high for Gwen. Gwen does indeed not protect herself from the smoke whatsoever, but instead of looking for something like a fire extinguisher, she looks for a hammer. She painlessly opens the metal toolbox, which should probably be heated up from the fire, and grabs a hammer, but smoke inhalation causes her to pass out before she can leave. It's a shame for Gwen that this wasn't like a regular apartment complex and there weren't easily accessible, readily available fire extinguishers outside of the apartments, but in the complex still. It's also a shame there wasn't a functioning sprinkler system in this building actually. And now that I think about it, there is no audible fire alarm at any point in this scene. What a shame for Gwen indeed. So anyways, we're back to Brax and JD, and Brax is taking the bad guys to where the money is. Don't worry though, Brax has a plan.
It's just right over here.
So now Brax is safe, but the bad guys think they have him trapped. And remember that dick joke from part 1?
Shall we call it Alejandro?
Oh, he's actually a pacifist.
Oh, you talking about his dick?
Remember when I said this would actually come into play?
There's nobody who can save you two little shits.
Alejandro can.
Oh? Who the f? Oh boy.
This ain't your fantasy, asshole.
You can literally see him through the door and he is reloading. Shoot him now. Now we're back to Sloan and Melanie and they start sniping at each other and Damon gets pretty sick of it pretty fast.
You can just say sorry.
Yeah, that would be a start.
He was talking to you.
I was talking to you both. You? Sounds like you were a real Miss Teen Asshole 2009 back then. Time to make amends for your past and ask for forgiveness. And you. Grow up. Stop giving this teenage version of her all this dang power over your life. Revenge ain't gonna fix you. Only you can fix you. God.
Foreshadowing.
Let's go.
How did you guys not hear him again? The only sound around you guys is a breeze. Anyways, Damon gets pretty badly stabbed, and Melanie and Sloan think they're in for it, but Damon decides to do one last thing before he dies. Melanie and Sloan grab Damon's map and water and continue making their way to a phone so they can call for help. And now we cut back to Patrick and his father, who are arriving where they need to go for the Venezuela mission. Patrick wants to go in with his father, but his father asks him to make sure there's no ambush, and wait a minute, this house looks familiar. I guess the natural conclusion of JD and Brax wanting to have it all was that it happened during an actual army exposition 20 years prior. Anyways, Brax comes out of hiding with a grenade that will explode if he lets go. Do you get it? Because earlier in the movie he was really bad with grenades, but now he's good with grenades? Brax uses this as leverage to get hold of the situation so he can save his brother.
My friend upstairs definitely going to kill your brother. Then he'll kill you for sure.
Not if he doesn't know it's me.
The mask will hide your face, but it will not hide your outfit, which not only is recognizable as you, but is recognizable as the exact same outfit that your brother is wearing. Yum. Anyways, the trooper clearing the area when Patrick notices someone with a grenade. Get it? Because that's how his dad dies?
Grenade.
I've been sitting here for a good 5 minutes now trying to think of a comment or joke I can make about this. But this is one of those cases where it just speaks for itself. Patrick goes to get the grenade off of Brax, but then he realizes that it's Brax.
Brax. What are you doing here?
In Venezuela?
In Venezuela what? No, what are you doing in our fantasy?
You're in mine.
A fight breaks out, but I guess that's not important. Let's cut back to JD. The guy guarding JD hears the commotion, but gets shot by the troops. JD gets rescued by the troops, and he informs the troops of the models in the panic room. Good thing they opened the panic room now, which they knew how to do and could have done as soon as it accidentally shut to let Brax and JD in. How convenient that they're only now doing it. Also, good thing they aren't hungry or thirsty considering they've been in there for at least half a day, presumably awake due to fear or anticipation. However, very conveniently, literally right after they leave, this guy comes back to life. I'm guessing that there were no second takes in any of this movie. Patrick and Brax keep fighting, but luckily the rest of the troops come back in time and save the day. The bad guy goes to throw the grenade at the crowd of people, but he gets shot before doing so, and the grenade is about to hit the ground and explode, but Brax catches it because of reincorporation. Anyways, everyone's saved now. JD and Brax are reunited. JD's not even surprised to see Patrick there. Patrick and his father have a happy little chat.
I cannot believe I ever let Jenny go. When I get home, I'm gonna tell her. She's my moon and my stars. Oh, Jenny. Jenny?
Oops. Anyways, for some reason everyone waits to start shooting until JD's fallen over. How convenient that they killed him right as his arc finished. The film decides to do the annoying thing where even though everything is proven to be very unkillable, everyone remains trying to fight it except the protagonists because that's how movies have to work. It gets to a point where it's just Patrick, Brax, and Patrick's dad, and Patrick's dad takes on the fight so that the others can escape. What a sacrifice that wasn't that necessary considering that as soon as it went down to just the three of you, they were only aiming at Patrick's dad anyway. And more time is spent on this nameless character's death than one of the main protagonists dying. I do not believe for a fucking second that people cared more about Lieutenant Sullivan than they did JD. And then pretty much as soon as Patrick's dad dies, they take like one more shot and then they stop shooting. I guess they just really had to stop because this scene was just too cool. What's the fucking point of putting the masks back on anyway? Is this scene meant to be scary, cool, or emotional? Because it's achieving none of them. Anyways, that's the end of the second act, so I may as well close up the video here. Stay tuned for the epic finale because oh boy, the final act in this movie is something else. That's the end of this video. Like, share, subscribe. I'm bad at outros and I'll see you in whatever I do next.